Melanin on melanin. Your dude need to recharge off your velvet skin. Make him feel like 12 again. Soon as you get.
All right, let's try this again. I don't know. As probably the last part of that video you may have saw, I do a little bit of cleanup as I got up to show you our lovely guest who's arrived with us. Obviously not on the couch because it is my dog Cherry. And when I got up, I knocked over half a bottle of water and spilled all over the place, including her blanket where she's laying in here. Yeah, blanket, not bed, because I don't know. Usually she's not in here that much. This is a really, really recent thing. She's been coming in here with me since, honestly, since we got back from uh, our road trip, which we're going to discuss in great detail here in a few minutes. But without further ado, let me introduce you to my lovely, lovely dog, Cherry Johnson. Yay. There she bees. Actually, do on her. But she's here. You saw her fur. That's the way she's choosing to lay, and well, it's where most of her blankets at. But um, all right. Now we're back cooking. Now we are back and we're cooking with fish grease. And so yeah, she's joining us today, which is great. I've been wanting her to hang out with me in here ever since I've been hanging out in the space. This is my office slash spare bedroom slash storage slash, you know, one of those rooms. So hence the snowboard, and this is my little backdrop and stuff. And obviously we got some new additions, which we are going to talk about here shortly. But yeah, it's been a while. It's been really hard to kind of find the space to be able to podcast. To be honest, I wanted to make sure I had all my thoughts together, but also just since I've been back with is just making sure Cherry's taken care of, and just trying to get myself and my life together, and my thoughts behind it. Just yeah, I haven't spit out a podcast, but I have been pushing out some social content, and so it's not been all for loss. It's just actually sitting down, having the space to come and do the podcast. I haven't done, so here we are. Actually, real quick, let me make sure that my battery doesn't die doing this. One second. All right, so all right, there we go. Now we're good. We're set. We are set. So as I said, it's been a while. Now let's start cooking with fish grease. Before my last podcast, I took or after my last podcast, excuse me, let me rephrase. I took a road trip and flight um, to, well, I drove down to Southern California via NorCal, stopped in Humboldt, saw some friends, and stopped in Sacramento for a night as well. And then I drove down to SoCal, where my my ex partner lives, and she and dropped off Cherry, and from there flew out of LA to New York for a couple of weeks, and then came back and did the drive again. But we're going to talk about the in between stuff that happened, and all of the things. So yeah, so I took Cherry down to SoCal to, um, as you all know, she's. Oh, I hear you. I don't know if you guys heard that. She's a grunty, a grunty lady. That's how she kind of communicates, and so she did a deep somatic reset breath just now. Um, but yeah, so I drove her down to SoCal, drove her down to my ex's. As she's been a really, really big part of her her life, and definitely part of her treatment scenario as well. And yeah, so I wanted to make sure that they had a last experience together, and in particularly since my ex has my dog's um, littermate brother who they had grown up together with, or grown up together up until we split, which is a couple years ago or so. That yeah, I wanted to make sure that they had their last scenario together to be able to enjoy her life while she's still able to run and jump and all those other stuff before this this disease kicks in, and so it takes its toll. um you know that's also been another part of it, and no excuses. Like, I really can't make that part of the lexicon of reason why or why not I do things, but um obviously my dog going through cancer, and and losing her battle, unfortunately. um it seems to be, at least in my life this year, there's been quite a few folks that have lost that battle. That being said, since the last time I've recorded, or since the last time I've recorded, I've lost an additional two friends to cancer, both to breast cancer that metastasized. And so, yeah, rest in power, Miriam, and rest in power, Risky. Risky is one of my CrossFit coaches here, and so we're doing a memorial workout for her this Sunday. But yeah, off topic. It's just, as soon as I literally just thought about that, that's also been, yeah, that's literally in a month I've lost two people to cancer, in a month time frame. So that's also been a reality, but also not an excuse. And so yeah, I took her down, and then I used the opportunity to, especially with her condition and everything, to go and visit my friend out in New York who had been promising to do so. And shout out to her for making a lot of things happen over there. That was exactly what I needed. I needed a good culture dip. Now, will I sit there and be like one of those people like, "Oh, New York's the greatest," and I'm moving to Williamsburg next year, and all that? Nah, not me, not at all. Nope, nope, nope. That being said, I will be back to New York. It is one of the dopest places, in particular for culture, I've been to. There's a reason why, New York, Paris, London, and in Tokyo are alpha cities. It's like it's it definitely has a lot to do with the way they're built, infrastructure, and a lot of things like that. But also just like the culture is unmatched. Um, Gosh, I did so much. It's like I don't even know where. Actually, let's start with what I'm sitting next to because I was like probably day two of me rocking up and getting there. So uh, I remembered I had bought these Ed Banger was 20th edition Adidas Superstars um uh, 5 years back or so. And I don't know if you can see from here, but they've got like all of the different folks from Ed Banger. It's like embossed into the sole or into the leather, and then on the bottom it's got piano notes, and then inside piano notes, and then as you can see, this doesn't come with every pair. Busy fucking P's signature. That's right, Busy fucking P signature. And so that to me, as I've already made a Busy P episode, he is beyond legend to me. Beyond legend. Did I absolutely clam up because I did want to ask him just like, man, let me just get like 5 minutes of your time, just ask him a few questions for an interview. And there probably was an opportunity. I, I don't know. I try to read the room and read energy, and I just didn't. I didn't. I didn't feel like that was possible in that moment. But that being said, uh, I went and you know one of the things that a lot of people, and don't get me wrong, New York is crazy expensive, and especially like to live and visit, and especially if you're staying in hotels and all that. Like it's it's pricey. However, you can live and kind of be entertained relatively uh, for a relative good price, relatively cheaply, if you know what you're doing and know the right price. And I don't know, follow your boy. Like just follow him. And so one of the things that's really cool, Lot Radio, which I think I've discussed on this show as, definitely somebody or an entity who's doing some really dope shit. Uh, they're based in New York. That's where they're at. They're based in a little container in Brooklyn. Uh, they have a lot. That's why it's called the lot. And you dance, buy drinks, pizza, all that stuff. And so Busy P was playing a free show that Saturday. Came out um, because he was opening for Justice and Kate Tronada that day, that night, or later that night, or that whole weekend, excuse me. But yeah, he did that. He did the lot radio, signed my superstar, and uh, it was completely free. That's the other thing. The lot radio is completely free, and then sorry, I jump all over the place. So yeah, like let me close off the Busy P scenario. So like yeah, he signed my shoes, all that, played a set there for free, and that's one of the cool things about the lot radio is that it is free. You rock up and it's I don't know if it's 24 hours, but it's definitely most of the damn day. And if you look at their schedule, the really, really cool thing about it is that there's someone on every slot, and every person that's on, like, they're usually a pretty well established artist. There's obviously, they have new and upcoming folks, and they play in and all kinds of other stuff. But like the the night before, in one of the slots, like Danny Brown had played, like, his had opened his album, and so like you could have just rocked up and like heard Danny Brown's, like, him perform his album for free. um Gosh, I'm trying to remember who else was doing the same thing, or was within that schedule. But there was, like, I looked at the schedule, and it's like you can go online, go to Lot Radio, and just look at the different time slots, and you'll absolutely be surprised that the people who are popping up there are playing for free, and they're people who demand relatively high ticket prices if they're to play somewhere else, pay. But that's one of the things a place such as New York, or these larger cities can do, is that a lot of these artists are already transiting or doing media or other things that are or working in these cities very, very frequently. And if they're not, they're they're visiting quite often, and they still figure out ways that they want to either touch the culture that they came from. And so I feel like the Lot Radio uh is a perfect manifestation of that. Y'all should check it out. I definitely would recommend it. But there's plenty of other folks that are doing things like that. And so, like I said, I was there for the culture. One of the things that I've definitely really been pushing, well, one, I've been pushing raw cuts. And for those who, for a reminder, raw cuts is, they're uh, a party production company based out of Brooklyn. They have they're really starting to blow up now, but they've been posting their sets online with, not only they have their own local and house DJs, but they've uh they've brought on quite a few other really well known DJs, from Prospa to, gosh, of course I'm drawing a blank now that I'm under the gun. That's the last one I saw. I'm like, Parallel, who I saw in real life, and more on that in a second. And but they're really famous for having, like, it's no phones, no VIPs, uh, you know, no guest list type parties. And so usually they throw them in warehouses around New York, but if you look online at some of their sets, they've had them in, outdoor spaces during the day. They just did a really, 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 really big um, party in Miami for Art Basel in partnership with Nike. Nike be trying to plug in. See, they know where the culture's at. Like, it's happening. It's happening. It's uh more on that more on that another time, another day. But I really wanted to go to Rock Huts. Like, that was my, outside of seeing Busy P and having inside this motherfucker. Shit happened. It happened. Boy. Mm. And so, yeah, that was really, really high on my list to happen, and it happened. So, the night I went, the first, it actually happened on the same night as Lot Radio. I think so. I'm almost positive it's the first night at Lot Radio. And so I um went out that night, had a fantastic dinner. Um And rock cuts, they go to like 5 a.m. And so we're like, all right, cool. We'll get there at like 2, something like that, whatever. I made some rookie mistakes. Let's say I partied a little bit too hard before I got there. Oh, you know, they never tell you how good you feel after you purge out everything, you know? They never talk about that. They never talk about how fresh and back to life you come back to. Oh, it was so bad, but I made it. Look, I made it and I got there and I didn't make a fool of myself. And gosh, what a great night. It was at at some warehouse. Well, they're now making it kind of permanent. They need to add some permanent bathrooms. Raw cuts, permanent bathrooms at 428, please. If y'all are trying to sit there and make that a spot. Permanent bathrooms, not porta potties at 428. Anywho, uh, made it there. It was a phenomenal night. Uh, closed out the spot. One of the things that blew my mind, absolutely blew my mind. I've talked about it on this podcast before, so far as like being out in the culture and being out in the scene. Like I've done this forever. Like I've been here forever. Um, and I've done this everywhere. And one of the unique things that and relatively exclusive to Portland, and like I've told people before in this podcast, like the there's a weird male insecurity scenario when I go out in Portland that I have to deal with that happens in pretty much every like aspect or facet that I try to entertain, um, whether it's the scene or whatever. And so it has been quite difficult, like making male friends here in Portland. It's changed and gotten better, in particularly over the last like 6 months or so. But even still, it's been difficult, and especially out in the scene. And so and then, to be honest, from a culture standpoint, like I've avoided the scene here relatively largely, except for some special occasions, as of the last year or so, just due to yeah, just I don't know. Like I go and I'm like, I don't gosh, I just don't feel like this is gonna sound so damn white. My cup's not filled. Like, and I hate to say it like that, but I just can't think of any other like way to describe it. Like I go and I want to like have this experience that I know that I can have, and it's just like the elements are there, but the juice isn't. And I don't know if it's it has to be a culture thing. Like I don't know, like because even being in New York, there is um every flavor of folks that I've seen in here. There can be, but I don't know. I really like the dance floor just was a lot more alive. I guess, yeah, no, just I think there's just a lot more people who are just more culturally attuned. I don't fucking know. Like I really wish I could describe it besides like saying that like they're or just being plain. There is just a more of a presence of I guess the presence of us fucking brown the presence of diversity makes a better party. Like, and I don't know how else to describe it, but that's just what it is. Um, I it felt great to like not just get on a dance floor and like move with people who like actually knew how to dance. Who said that? Um, what? Uh, but like I was like instantly making like male friends, like instant male friends. I like that were like legit. Like a couple dudes like literally checked on me for a second, and I was like, for those who know me, if I get fucked up, like I'm not gonna. I'm not really like a visible. I don't show it. Like I'm at all. Like I hide all symptoms extremely well. Here's how you know that I'm really like I'm definitely I'm hanging on. If I got my hands on my knees and I ain't been dancing and I ain't tired and I ain't out of breath from dancing, like I'm hanging on for dear life. You know, that happened a few moments, and there's people that actually checked on me. Like these dudes didn't know me from Jack. Like I've been in New York fucking 48 hours, and like was instantly making friends. I just had the absolute best night, the best night. Um, and then obviously the week happened, and I was one of the to rewind, one of the reasons that I started following Raw Cuts was because I came across James Juke and his Raw Cut set, and then I was just like, "What's the fuck is this Raw Cut shit?" And I was like, "Oh man, I definitely got to go see Raw Cuts." But going to New York, I was like, "I really want to go see Raw Cuts. It'd be absolutely fucking sick if I can go and see Raw Cuts and see James Juke." And so I saw Raw Cuts. It didn't happen. Or I'll say James Juke didn't play that night that I went to Raw Cuts that I just described. And the week went on. The week went on. Great things happened. I ate so much dope food. So much dope food. I can't even. It's on my Insta. Like my recaps on my Insta. I should probably post it on my YouTube as well. But the amount of, I mean, ate a lot of places in Manhattan just because, yeah, passionate. Um, my friend who's staying with, that's kind of, yeah. And then, but we did a lot of stuff in Brooklyn as well. We even went out to Queens one night. Um, ate some really dope food. But anyways, I digress. Back to what I was talking about for the culture. And this is why I say all the effing sauces, because I still went out and I ate Egyptian seafood. I ate Filipino food. I ate uh I ate laksa, which is one of my favorite soups in the world. Um, obviously did pizza and a lot of other carb things that my body is showing right now. But either way, did all the effing sauces. Now back to Raw Cuts, back to Raw Cuts, back to music, back to going out. And so I was like, dang, I really want to see James Juke. And even though I got to go to Raw Cuts, great party, I have zero to complain about. Like, how am I gonna see James Juke before I get out of here? Like, that has to happen. And so fast forward to the next Thursday. So that Raw Cuts was Saturday. Fast forward next Thursday. And so like Raw Cuts was really like they were in like the afterglow of like Saturday's party. Saturday's party was dope, and they're sitting there, doing the social media push on it too. And I'm like commenting back. I was like, it'd be really dope if y'all could do something with James Juke soon before I get out of New York. I shit you not. The comment is there. I either I commented on a story or I commented on a post. I promise you it's there. And I was just like, yeah, no, last week has been was dope. Like, I really, really hope uh you guys get James Duke do something soon. And then he commented like, hey, stay tuned. I'm like, what? And then I look on uh Rock Cut stories, and they're like, hey, we got something cooking. And they're like, if we threw a party tonight, would you go? I'm like, yeah. And then I was just like, yo, if y'all throw a party night, please, 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 please involve James Duke somehow. And so, like, from the comment, the original comment, me and James Juke got in the DMs. And I was just like, hey, homie, I really, obviously I admire your shit. You're really dope DJ, et cetera, et cetera. And he goes, thanks. Hey, I really think something's cooking right now. Hey, stay tuned. For real? Literally 3 hours later, Rock Cuts post, free party back at 428. James Juke opening up for Parallel for free. Knocked me over with the feather. Oh boy, it was a dope day. Went to sauna that day. Went out to Trafe. Had a They do. Funny enough, I went there 15 years ago, or no, 13 years ago, almost to the day when I went for uh my daughter's mom's birthday. But it's because they offer a really dope uh, chef's menu for a really good price. And so it's like, I don't know how many courses, but like you leave like I'm a big eater, and I was looking at like the last two rounds, like if they don't bring any more food, I'm not mad at that opportunity either. And I never say that. I'm like, no, especially chef's menu shit. Come on, come on. But had a dope dinner in Brooklyn, and yeah, went to Rock Huts, and after James Juke opened up for Parallel, amazing party once again on a Thursday for free. And right now, Rock Huts, to be honest, they're probably one of the leading, um, I'd say, party production crews that are underground right now in the, if not the country, or definitely if the in the country, but if not the world, like definitely the country, like them, obviously Book Club Radio. Um, it's been a while since I've been in LA, and all the people who I used to think or not think who were underground back in the day. They're not. They're huge. Club Colorado's huge. Ham on Everything's huge. Space Yacht's huge. But yeah, either way, Rock Huts definitely leading the way right now, especially in the kind of uh, new kind of turn of the party space is taking, which we'll talk about in a second as well. But yeah, so I was able to. I go all over the place. That's probably why this podcast is called All the Effing Sauces, because my ass be all over the place. Um, Anywho, so after James Duke opened up for Parallel, went talked to him for like, I don't know, half hour or something. Super cool dude. Talk shop. Uh, West Coast dude. Both house heads, and so he's super dope. I've already posted like a reel on him like 6 months ago. He will be. I As I said today, I hope on my stories, uh, once he gets big and he's on top of festivals, hey, when I hit the DM, let me get that guest list though, because I definitely have been on him since early. Also, I'll even cross promote. He has a podcast right now called, I think it's called Juice Box. Shit, it's on YouTube. You should definitely find it. Good looking podcast. Just had Kicks to Killer on as a guest. So, um, and that is also another. That's a whole nother podcast episode. Um, LGBTQ music in the culture, because I definitely fuck with Kicks to Killer as well. But either way, we hung out. I didn't stay the whole night just because we had like a really long day, and it'd been a long week, and might have had something the next day. But either way, I we did. We sure did we. So the next night, because we had talked to James Juke, and so we're and another. This is more. You're welcome for me putting you on. So here's a tip: if you're ever in New York and everybody's like, "Oh, it's all hella expensive and shit," especially for nightlife, actually, quite a few places will offer offer this, or at least so far in the new culture spaces. So like, Refuge will do this. New place called Green Room. I was there for opening night. We'll do it, and a few others. But if you go before a certain time, yes, it's painful to do so, but you'll still get it. You go before a certain time, show them your ticket, you get in free before that certain time. You can leave and come back, usually for free, but at Refuge they charge $5. But if you're listening, like for Refuge, they stay open till noon minimum. So you get in for free. Say you want to leave, you come back, your ticket's $5. You know what I'm saying? So like, and there's so much, and Green Room is literally like half a block away. So, and it's also kind of centrally located near quite a few other spots in Brooklyn. So like, you can have a cheap night out, and that's also something we're gonna talk about. And I hate like, oh my gosh, because I know how this comes across. Like, and especially for, yeah, I just know how this comes across in a lot of different directions. But this is just transactional. There's a fucking ticket robbery difference going on here in Portland, and I don't even understand it. Even for paid tickets in New York, for like, say for instance, the Rock Cuts party that we paid for, it's like $22 a ticket, and maybe plus tax. It was like $27 a ticket. It wasn't bad. It wasn't crazy. And even all the other shows, they weren't crazy. Like the ticket prices weren't crazy. I for the shows that I've like had to pay for here in Portland lately, or have looked to have to pay for and just didn't because I ain't got the money. Um 50, 60 plus bucks. And we're a dog grunting. And we're in a state with no sales tax. And so like I don't even understand why it's like you can do that. Like everybody talking about New York's so expensive or LA so expensive, et cetera, et cetera. Same. I was in LA 2 months ago. Um Same Calendar tickets last minute were like $18 at Novo on a Friday, excuse me. Like I wouldn't even there's I couldn't even see local DJs on a Sunday night for less than $20 here, or 25 usually in Portland. So I hate being one of those people that be like, oh man, because like I said, I know that comes off when somebody goes to like a bigger or whatever city, and then they come back and then they talk about said city in an elevated terms, or like what is different or quote unquote better, how that's viewed upon amongst people. But like transactional differences are transactional differences. The price of one thing is higher here than it is over here. If I'm paying X amount of dollars for the same experience over here, and then I'm paying another Y amount of dollars for the same experience over here, that's just different. It's just transactional. And so that was the reality. I mean, so far as for the rest of my trip, I did a sushi and hash pairing dinner. That was super dope. I can't even remember the amount of courses, 12, 15, something like that. Um, Shout out to Ashnet once again for making that happen. That was really cool. Um, yeah, I just ate a bunch of food after that. So that's what I like to do. And I probably did something else musical. I just can't remember. One of the things that I do want to talk about as well is and um I've got to make a social post about it. So the rise of the no phones spaces becoming more commonplace in dance music culture, and the rise of popularity of them, and the necessity for them. And while I went to Refuge and all I got is this little sticker right here to cover my phone, um, I'm glad it went that way, you know? And for myself, it's never been an issue. Yes, I am absolutely guilty of going to shows and absolutely recording my phone out or pulling my phone out at some moments. However, what I can say is this: if you've been with me, in particularly the better part of the past 10 years, and you've been out with me, most of the time, most of the real dope shit I'm doing, there's no cameras nowhere. Nobody's taking pictures of nothing. For several reasons, whether it's, yeah, definitely for privacy reasons of everybody's privacy. It, on occasion, there are definitely people who uh, are of stature or fame or whatever who definitely don't want that scenario being involved around them just in general. But I think one of the more important things I think that we forget to look at a macro is that we as millennials, zennials, Gen Xers, uh, I'll just say folks who are probably 32 and above to a certain extent, or I would even say 35 and above to a certain extent, we there's a few things happening. One, we're all in professional positions to where we economically and culturally control a lot more of what goes on within commerce in general. If you look at a lot of different either C suites or execs or anything like that, a lot of folks are starting to come into the roles of either those roles at this age or doing so. But two, I think one of the most and probably the most important thing is that when this culture had its first, like I'd say, initial explosion in the late 90s, 2000s, when I, or yeah, late 90s, 2000s. When I joined, we didn't have cell phones to record everything. And we knew how to make a party without utilizing your phone. And I think, not only did we did not having your phone, like, obviously I was literally like, yeah, first you be social and et cetera, et cetera. But the thing is that we didn't grow up with a phone as part of our economy. Like, I hate that I have to do Instagram and kind of even like put the things out that I put out, at least culturally, because I don't want basic people to show up that are just clout chasing. I don't like, and even in New York, I still saw it in these spaces. It was less. It was definitely less than like here, less than being in other places or whatever. But and especially because of the venues and the opportunities that I chose, but it's still there. And so for us to be able to grow up without having this device that sits there and is like gonna provide us economic, like me recording whatever moment, whether it's myself with my friends or doing something stupid or recording, whatever's going on around me, like, you know, utilizing that to in order uh, to make economy or chase or to make any which way to propel yourself forward just didn't exist. We were just there to have fun. Like, we're there to dance. And we've, at least within the uh gosh, popularity explosion of this culture, uh, that's it is lost. I mean, you've got so many people who are content creators and all this stuff, and it's just like, this isn't why this was created at all, at all. And that energy is absolutely, it's present, it's palpable. You can see it, feel it, touch it, taste it, all of the things, and it absolutely makes a huge difference. And so I say all this because one of the larger conversations always gets lost up, and especially as myself, and as somebody going into my mid 40s now, you always, am I too old for this? When am I going to slow down or whatever? And it's just like, one, you should never slow down. Like, don't let your inner kid die. I definitely believe in all of that, whatever that inner kid needs to do. I'm not even saying just within dance, but just whatever it is, never let that inner kid die. But two, I think not only do we shouldn't stop, I think we're needed now more than ever. In particularly those of us who have been experienced this within this culture, because we're seeing it being taken over. Like, and I'm not necessarily saying it in a necessarily bad way, but it's definitely transforming in ways where there's like a lot of outside forces that are shaping the culture that aren't for the culture. You know, um, you look at any festival these days, and especially ones that have like actual, moneyed headliners or anything like that. They have, representation breakdowns of the different artists that are involved, And those artists are represented by the same people who represent the Ushers and the Yoncés and whoever. The same exact groups. Like the money's there. Like I said, Rock Cuts just did a partnership with Nike. That's something I never thought Nike would be that deep into the culture. You know? And so I think if folks, I hate to say it like myself, but there's others. There's a ton of others. Whether you're an entity like Book Club Radio, like Rock Cuts, I just started following this British junk doing the same, that are continuing to keep the party going and continue to keep the party like where it needs to be. Or if you're just there, you're just in the scene. Like there's so many people I saw, and I know them here too as well, and they're doing a great job as well. And kudos to all of those older folks that are in the scene that continue to do a great job. Um, kind of just guiding folks and definitely making sure the culture stays where it is. But I saw a lot of those folks in New York as well, and it was really great to see those folks. Um, I I've never felt more motivated to stay within the culture than I do now, and more empowered. I think for myself is somebody who looks at my peers, and everybody has a different peer groups who do different things, but at this age demographic, we all have a decent amount of folks who have done the traditional married slash kids slash whatever, living a much slower life, which I honestly on a daily basis, I are on a mostly daily basis I do. um just at least that part of the culture, that's where it operates, I'm gonna be there. I honestly hope we continue to stay out in that space and continue to guide it. Yeah, I don't think I think the kids need us more now than ever. And I think it really showed it. And so, um, yeah, I really think that's at least what I've got for a recap in New York. Gosh, and Rock Cuts, it was really dope. Like I really it gave me so much renewed energy to be just to go out and like, yeah, just be awesome. It really reinvigorated me about the culture. Honestly, kind of excited about 2026. There's international festivals are blowing up. Um, Beyond EDC, uh, Circle's throwing a festival. Um, there's a festival happening in Iceland that I'm pretty excited about. But yeah, we're closing out 2025. I really can't believe it. I'm definitely going to try to get on the mic before then, because so much more still has happened. There's still so much more to talk about. The damn Diddy doc, y'all. I need some Diddy doc views. Damn it. That came out, and uh, shit. Oh, before I go, I did go to the Chappelle show. Like, so uniquely enough, lucked up. Um, and if I'm not gonna put any people on, if it's in your city, you should. Actually, I should do PDX. So I got this website. It's called Do PDX, and if you are, it just depends on what city you are in, and if you're gonna live in a large city, relatively. But if you live in like a New York, Chicago, Toronto, even places like Louisville, Kentucky, I think like uh, yeah, other different little mid-market cities as well, Seattle, etc. The Do website, it's you just have to go Do and then your city and see if it exists. But I have Do Portland, and long story short, membership. You sign up for it. You can do an annual plan or you can do a monthly plan, but it's literally like equals out to like $5 or $7 a month, depending on what you choose. I've been a member for years. It is one of the greatest things since sliced bread. They literally send you free tickets all the time. You put in like all of your stats, like if you like different musicians, different comedians, different uh like locations, like entities around where you live, like so if you like different venues, so different venues around where you live, and the ones that you like, and then they'll just out of nowhere they'll just be like, hey, we got free tickets to this, do you want them? Sometimes they're not good, sometimes they're good. And the other week they just turned out to be motherfucking life changing because they said, hey, would you like to go to Dave Chappelle at the Moda Center for free? I'll I'll walk there like Diddy asked me to get him some cheesecake from fucking in Brooklyn to fucking to see Dave Chappelle. Are you kidding me? And so yeah, I got to see Dave Chappelle for literally, I mean, whatever my $7 a month subscription cost was, but I see a lot of shows that way for free. So definitely, if you're wherever city you're at, do subscribe to, and it's do like do more, son, like do more work, do work, like so like do PDX, do Seattle, like do all these other different places. They definitely have some stuff. So but yeah, I went to see Chappelle. He was dope. And I don't know what material he's doing in each city, because at least what I can say, and that's why I want to do another episode and talk about the Diddy doc, is that for everybody, the Diddy doc had just came out maybe like 2 days, 3 days before, or something like that, or maybe even the night before, and they had a good amount of material, like a good amount of material. It wasn't just like, oh shit, Diddy doc came out, y'all seen it? Yeah, man, they talk some crazy shit, and this, like a one or two, whatever. There's there's some developed work in their comedy. So yeah, if obviously if he's playing in a city near you, definitely go see him. And if he's playing in a city near you and you have a do more opportunity, yo, please use that, and you can see him for a very very low price. Shit, my do membership just paid for itself for the rest of his life, as far as I'm concerned. Um, yeah, and so I don't know. That's it for now. I don't really have too much on the horizon. So yeah, that's it. Take care. Talk soon. Cheers, folks.